If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. There will be a link in the description. They are the cheapest and safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for a 5% discount. Well, guys, I just woke up about 5 minutes ago, and I just had a dream that was about this situation, actually. And I was like, you know what? Why not hop on and tell the story? Because, you know, I've been wanting to do this for YouTube probably for a year or two now, tell the story. That's like still the most mysterious slash scariest moment of my life that isn't, it's kind of funny looking back now how much I just shit my pants when this happened. But anyway, yeah, it's some kind of like ghost story, mysterious moment that happened to me. And if you guys watching have like any moment that is similar to you, that you're just not sure what the hell happened, I'd love to hear your guys' stories in the comments. Because keep in mind here, I've always pretty much my entire life been just a skeptic of most things, ghosts being one of them. Like I can't say I've been a huge believer in ghosts, and the chances of even this story, and I'm going to tell you today, being ghost is like the conclusion we reach here is like, oh yeah, it was a ghost, is astronomically low, right? So I just think it's a fun story to talk about because I have zero explanation as to how this happened, why this happened. And we'll link this to this random Reddit post here in a little bit. We'll get there. But of course, thank you all for being here on the second channel. Subscribe if you are new. And okay, so I guess the backstory for this is like, yes, throughout maybe since I turned maybe 15, 16, I like the paranormal shit was not something I really believed in. And I still don't really to this day. I don't think we can rule out anything at all. It's just hard for me to be like, yeah, it was a spirit from the other side. Like that's always the hard part for me to jump to, right? That's kind of why I think like this experience I had almost lends a bit more credence to the story a bit, because I wasn't at the time believing at all that like, yeah, my house was haunted or some sort of ghost infestation needed to happen, right? Like nothing like that. So anyway, okay, this was about 2017, 2018, I want to say, my senior year of high school. So we're talking like 6-7 years ago now. And around that time, oftentimes I'd say maybe 3 times a week, 2-3 times a week, I would just be straight up alone in the house. My parents would be gone. It was actually just my dad at the time. My dad would be gone. My siblings would be gone. It was just me in the house. And that didn't bother me at all. Like I didn't mind it whatsoever. I wasn't freaked out or paranoid at all, and my house would make noises, and it wasn't like, oh my god, the ghosts were here. Like I didn't think about that at all. I kind of knew all the noises inside and out almost because I've heard them all before, considering I'd be home alone and you kind of hear the noises that your house makes, right? You get used to those. So I was home alone one night. I think it was about 2 o'clock, I want to say, really late at night. I was downstairs and I was just on the computer. I was like, I think I was playing a computer game of some kind. I actually might have even been on the web app, honestly. That might have been what I was doing. Web app plus YouTube, maybe. My computer was downstairs. That's kind of the point. Really, really late at night, and my downstairs is like a split level, right? So you walk in the front door, and it's a split level house, so you go downstairs, and then to the left is the living room plus the computer room. It's like combined into one, basically. And the computer room faces the corner of a wall, basically just like this corner is here, right? I'm sitting there playing, watching YouTube on Twitter, you know, doing God knows what. I remember that nothing was playing at the time because there was nothing in my ear. It was like dead silent in the house, right? And most of the time it was dead silent. I was by myself. It was super duper late at night. I mean, there's just no sounds really going on apart from maybe the AC, the heat, whatever it was. I'm just sitting there playing, and I laugh thinking about it now because it's just such a like ridiculous story. So I'm just sitting here on the computer, and about 3 feet behind me, I hear just a human gasp. That's the best way to describe it. I literally hear the most human-like breathing noise, as if somebody saw me and was shocked. That's what I heard. I hear and a step. It was like a half little step on my carpet, because the carpet that I was on makes a lot of noise when you walk on it. It was like simultaneous noises. It was and a step, and I literally, guys, shit my pants because I jumped to the conclusion, like there was no question in my mind. My brain didn't go, oh, what the hell was that? It was so obvious what it was that I literally went, someone's here. Someone's in the house behind me. Like I thought I was an intruder in the house. That was actually my first instinct, was like, oh my god, someone's here. So I quickly turned around, looked behind me, and obviously there's nothing there. But at that point, I was basically ready to like call 911 because somebody was here. I heard a step. I heard a gasp. Why the hell would somebody gasp? Okay, you're asking too many questions already. Okay, don't ask. It was just so visceral and real when I heard it that I was like, okay, well, I'm fucked. So it took me about 15 seconds to say, oh my god, grab my phone, turn the computer off. I ran upstairs. I literally looked like quickly in like the bathroom to my left. The lights were like mostly off because I, didn't expect there to be an any horror movie type shit going on. So I dipped upstairs back to my room, locked the door, and I texted my dad right after it happened. It was so bad that like my dad, who was not going to believe it was a ghost, by the way, not like he was going to be here being like, oh my God, we need to call the priest, right? Like I was well aware how crazy I was going to sound when telling somebody this story, but I had to tell him because so I texted him at like, it was like 3 a.m. at that point, or 2:30, whatever it was. I texted him and I was like, I don't know what I just heard, but somebody might be here. Like legitimately somebody might be here. That was my first instinct. So I literally sat and locked the door in my room until 9:30 a.m. when he came home, and I went downstairs with him and I told him, you need to help me look through this entire house just to make sure no one's here. So we did that. We looked through the entire house and nobody was there. And I told him the whole story and everything, and obviously nobody was there, right? But the reason that this jumps like it's kind of a ghost story for me is because when I think back on it, like I thought back on it the next day because I was so mind blown by what I heard that I was just trying to think of any rational explanation for this, right? And I was obviously struggling to think of one, but I'd always had this dream, and I've dreamed like my whole life a lot of times about paranormal shit, even though, you know, I don't believe in it myself. I think that it's just some sort of like weird thing that I've always had. I don't know why that is. I've always dreamed about like ghosts and like paranormal shit, which maybe you could say lends a bias toward something happening, I guess, in my subconscious that I heard. I don't know. But I was trying to think of ways to explain away certain shit like this. But this one I could not explain away because it was so real to me. So I had this dream a lot that there was a ghost in my downstairs. I always would go peel. I can visualize it in my head. I'd have a recurring dream. I'd peel over my staircase where it was like a split level house. I'd be upstairs. I'd look through the whole staircase basically. And I'd look downstairs and I'd see like an old woman, right? That was what I'd always see. And she'd be walking across my laundry room and bathroom. That's what I'd always see for many years. I'd see that. And I've never had another paranormal dream like that. Like that's similar to where I'd always see the same thing, right? I've never seen that in my entire life. Before that or since that, I've never seen anything like that. And that was, you know, I moved out now only for what, like a month and a half, 2 months now. You guys know the setup has changed from the blue setup to the shitty gray setup to prison, but I didn't really have that dream post maybe a year after that happening. I never had that again. And it was like a 3-4 year stretch where I had that dream. That story happened and then it never happened again. So I don't know how to explain what happened. You know, I looked up on the paranormal subreddit, looked up online, like any sort of a gasp that anybody heard, right? And this was like one of the only things I found on the paranormal subreddit, which I can't believe I'm on. It's literally just happened. I'm laying here in bed and a very loud, obvious gasp was right beside me. I have no pets, live alone, etc. Am I just hearing things? And many of the replies were saying like hearing things before sleep is pretty common, but I was literally so not tired. I was not in the mindset of haunted spookiness or there's an intruder in my house, right? Whatever, you know, one of the two. It was so out of the blue. And then it was so real that I was so just shell shocked by what I was hearing that it for like 48 hours pretty much shook my like, oh my God, I don't believe in ghosts at all. And now I just heard something that I cannot explain. It was so real, I can't explain it. So not to keep repeating myself, but I have no idea what to make of any of it. I have no idea. I still to this day, no idea what to make of it. But you know, it's fun to speculate what those kinds of things could be. You know, if you have anything that's sort of mysterious in your life that's happened to you, unexplained anything, I'd love to hear it in the comments. But why a ghost would gasp in my ear, I have no fucking idea. Okay, it just sounds so ridiculous. The whole story's ridiculous. But if you guys have any idea what the hell I heard, please tell me in the comments. I think that's all I got. I'll probably read some of your ghost stories if there's a lot of them. I'll probably read them for another video. So thank you all for being here and watching. I love you all. Thanks for soon. Peace.